Starting from 1880s, the world temperature has increased at an average rate of 0.08 degrees Celsius every 10 years. But unfortunately, beginning in the 80s, the rate has risen more than double the regular rate. In February 2022, the global temperature has increased by 1.19 degrees Celsius compared to 1880s. The plain number does not seem as worrying as it does, but what if I tell you, when the global temperature increases to 2 degrees Celsius, low-lying coastal regions and small islands worldwide are at the risk of disappearing due to rising sea level, and a third of the world animal will face inevitable extinction. Deadly heat waves become more common in more regions. Freshwater and food resources drop drastically, causing severe drought and famine globally. Disastrous extreme weather will occur more often than before. Whether it is on the news or among our surroundings in recent years, we can perceive the presence of global warming effect around us in Kuala Terengganu. We felt hotter climate. We experienced heavy downpours and flooding in some regions of Terengganu, and drought on the other hand. These effects are equally destructive to the wildlife and the natural environment as well as the terrestrial ecosystem around us. Global warming results in extreme temperature effects. Some colder areas become more freezing and some become hotter around the world. The swift shift of temperature directly causes weather changes that happen more frequently throughout the year and heavy precipitation that impacts soil erosion and increases flood risk. Severe droughts lower the water level in reservoirs, ponds and rivers, and it depletes the water quality. As for plants, longer droughts and an increased number of heat waves will reduce the survivability of several plants when they are unable to adapt. When the environmental conditions change due to extreme weather and temperature, native species can lose their natural advantages, and invasive species have greater opportunity to thrive and succeed. Additionally, native species become more vulnerable to invasive species as they lose reliance due to climate change-induced stressors. As the temperature increases and soil moisture changes, plant and the vegetative zone shift in response. Trees are forced to migrate to higher elevations to find cooler, which is more suitable climate for their survival, resulting in alteration of native ecosystem structure. And how about the effect on animals? Habitat destruction is one of the problems faced by animals. It is often due to changes in temperature and water availability, which affect the native vegetation and the animals that feed on it. Some species were forced to move into new spaces to adapt and survive, and some will eventually die. The timing of various natural cyclical events in the life of animal will shift. Phenology is the study of these seasonal events. Many birds have shifted their migratory and reproductive schedules to better align with changing climate caused by global warming. Extreme heat and poor air quality pollution increases complications from underlying heart and respiratory conditions in animals. They are currently facing a bigger threat of health risks that will lead to deadly disease. Regrettably, this is not exceptional for human beings. Fortunately, it is never too late for us to take actions and measures to reduce and solve the issues we are facing right now. Like other countries, we need to gradually cease relying on non-renewable energy that comes from burning coal and petroleum, which is primarily responsible for releasing greenhouse gases. It is by replacing non-renewable energy sources with solar and wind energy sources. Interestingly, only 0.6% of North America's surface filled with the solar panel is needed to provide electrical energy to the whole country. This shows that solar energy is a viable and reliable alternative. Besides that, cows and other ruminants account for more than 40% of global methane emissions. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas with higher heat-trapping ability than carbon dioxide. In order to reduce methane release, we entail to be more plant-based food dependent as well as consume less red meat. Ever heard of the 3R? Reduce, reuse, and recycle. We need to practice reduce to minimize the greenhouse gas emissions. Practice reuse to maximize the value of the natural resources, and practice recycle to reduce pollution and save resources. When the forests are cut down, much of that stored carbon is re-released into atmosphere as carbon dioxide. Tropical deforestation now makes up approximately 10% of global warming pollution. We should be obligated to plant more trees and support the reforestation movement to save our environment from global warming. With all things in mind, global warming is in fact disrupting the order of nature detrimentally. Awakening and realization by the vast majority of people around the world are necessitated to impede and inhibit the devourer of our acts.